have to tell you, I'm pretty exhausted. I reckon we must have spent the last 45 minutes trying to set this podcast up.
This is like the early days. Gosh.
Would have been quicker just to send carrier pigeons to each other with each other's ideas. Let's somehow get our energy back. Parish notice, by the way. Speaking of boring starts to podcasts, which was a topic in our recent episode,
Right.
and then we had a special exciting intro recorded by Mark Rober for us, and I did get a comment or two asking if that was the real Mark Rober or we had used AI. AI really has ruined the whole idea of doing unusual or spectacular things, because if you ever go to the trouble of doing something cool, people just assume it's AI. So
I know, yeah.
but it was Mark Rober. Mark's a friend of mine and helpfully agreed to send us a little intro, which some people were impressed by, some people thought was AI, and other people like Tim, who's never heard of Mark Rober, it just meant nothing to.
No, but you wisely said ask a bunch of young adult males, and so I asked 5, and 4 of them were like, oh, cool, yeah.
Right.
So there you go. Props to you, Mr. Rober, even though I didn't know who you are.
4 out of 5 young Australian males think you're cool.
Well, they know who you are. But yeah, no, they were super impressed. They were like, oh, wow, that's brilliant.
And 1 old Australian male has no idea.
Hey, this is Mark Rober, and you're listening to the Unmade podcast with Brady and Tim. Let's hear their latest crazy podcast ideas, plus some boring admin stuff at the start.
I've since looked him up, and he looks like a pretty interesting guy and a pretty good guy too. Does some good stuff. Yeah,
he is. Does good stuff. Nice guy. Yeah.
Like, I mean, not as amazing as appearing on the Unmade podcast for all of about 10 seconds, but...
He has peaked. He's peaked now, but, you know, it's all downhill from there. Maybe we should get him on sometime and see if he's got any good podcast ideas.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
All right. See if he's see if I can get into his busy schedule one day. Also, parish notices, the Glacial podcast continues at 1 word a week every Monday. And can I just say, January, for a podcast that only does 1 word a week, January is a blockbuster.
Right.
If you're going to listen any month, listen in January.
Right.
And I'm not going to give away too much, but January's huge. There's big things happening on the Glacial podcast. So check out the links below. You can now listen to it on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Search Glacial Podcast or just use the links I'm giving. January, huge, but I don't want to spoil it.
Wow. Wow. So it's 1 word then, that's what you're saying, but it's a significant word.
There's a couple of big moments. I don't want to give it away. I don't want to spoil it.
Okay. All right.
Between you and me, Tim, this is the month where...
Nice. Cool. Awesome. Yep.
Okay. See, I told you. Huge. And also me saying the word...
Wow. That's a good word.
Cool. All right. But bigger than anything when it comes to parish notices. If you haven't seen it already, we've released a new marble run video. And this one, we've pulled out all the stops. There are 11 races. There are 11 prizes going to Patreon supporters, because that's how the marble races work. I've built a whole new course, and most excitingly of all, for the first time, Tim is involved in the commentary.
Yes. Not so much commentary, I would say sort of, special comments.
Punditry.
It's sort of a niche area. Yeah. I mean, I'm not just there describing what's happening, which is sort of the role of an average commentator like yourself. Brought in for technical expertise, special comments. I've boned up, and it was a real honour to sign the contract and become involved in the broadcast.
If people are enjoying it, this has taken me days, so this has become sort of part of our core business now, unless people tell me to stop. Would someone tell me to stop, please? Tim has, but hasn't worked. Check it out, people. Links below. Go to the Patreon. And this is one of the ways we reward our Patreon supporters too. You are representing the marbles. The marbles are representing you. You are at one with the marbles. Did you enjoy watching it?
I did. I really enjoyed watching it. This one's a bit longer, and I really got into the rhythm of it, like just sitting watching, and it builds up. It's very meditative. Like in the middle of a Formula One race where it's sort of like, things have found a certain pattern and there's
a rhythm.
But you still want to know what's going on. There's a rhythm to it. That's right. Yeah. But this is even better because there's multiple rounds. So it's like you get a winner every few minutes. So it's really satisfying. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I think you commentated on it really well.
Thank you, man. Did you make the family watch?
Make the family do anything is very difficult to do when it comes to marble racing.
Right.
I invited them to watch, and a few of them glanced up and checked it out and went, "Oh, Brady," and one refused to come downstairs for it. But they will all remain nameless.
Shall we do ideas for a podcast? That's why we're here.
You've told me you're excited about your idea tonight, which adds pressure, particularly when I say it. So, come on, you've got to go first. What have you got?
This is a vintage Brady last-minute idea I got in the shower before recording.
Right.
Which was quite a long time ago now, after all our technical problems, but it was still reasonably recent. And this one just came to me, and I'm going to hit you with it. Now, I don't know whether to preface it with kind of some qualifications to stop you asking me certain questions, or whether I should just go for it. I'm just going to go for it. All right.
Do you want me to be mute? Do you want me to hold back obvious questions while you explain it, or?
No. That's just, you be you. You be you, man. There's nothing else I'd rather you be.
Would it be easier if I wasn't here, man? Is that what you're saying?
This podcast would definitely be easier without you. I can tell you that right now. But it wouldn't be as funny. It would be much, much easier.
Right. Okay. Well,
right.
You go ahead.
All right. Now, if Tim was naming this podcast, I think it probably would have been called I Want It That Way. But I'm going to call this podcast Boy Band. And the premise of this podcast is, Tim, you and I are going to start a boy band.
Right.
With you and I as members.
Right. Yes.
We are in our very, very, very late 40s, but I think we can still start a boy band if we want.
I think we're still younger than many of the members of New Kids on the Block who are currently playing Vegas, I think.
Yeah, okay. So, and this podcast will just follow you and I through the process as we do all the things involved in launching ourselves as a boy band, which is a process I believe can take 18 months to 2 years from start to finish. So, but people will just go through the process with us. And you might think, well, is there enough content for a podcast there? And I think there definitely is. Let me talk you through just some of the things that we would document on our podcast. Strategy sessions where we talk through our target audience, what music style we're going to go for. Auditions, because there can't just be two of us. We need more members. I don't know how many more members, but we would have to audition. Our friends maybe that we think should be in the band, or strangers, I don't know, but we'd go through audition processes. We'd have to have makeovers. We'd have experts in to talk about our look and our appearance and our style and what we should stick with and what we could enhance, what we could, dare I say it, change. So there'd be makeovers, vocal training for me. I mean, no, you're obviously already there, man. Dance lessons, media training, so we know how to handle all the publicity and attention we're going to get from the media. Branding, we're going to have to name the band. We're going to have to decide on a look and a title and all that kind of stuff. So that can be okay. Our narrative, because obviously people like to know the story behind the band, how we met, we were friends since school, how all the others came together, our origin story, the vibe of each member, because, you know, some members of the boy band are like, you know, the sexy bad boy or the the nerdy one, or everyone's got their own kind of vibe. So who's going to get what vibe? We'd have to go through that.
Yeah.
We'd have to start a website and social media. Maybe we'd bring on a social media manager. How are we going to handle that? What's going to be our thing? We'd have to looking at the data and demographics and that sort of stuff. We can go deep into that. The business side of our band, the legal, our contracts, revenue split, exit clauses, all that kind of stuff we have to think about when we start our boy band. We haven't even made the music yet. Then we're going to make the music and the songs and the creation process, how we're going to do it, performances, albums, picking the songs for our album. Once all that's happened, tours, where are we going to tour? How are we going to tour? What's going to be our thing? Are we going to have a bus? Are we going to have our own plane? All that. So I think from start to finish, this is going to be an awesome, awesome podcast as Tim and Brady and our fellow band members, yet to be decided, form the new big thing, a boy band.
Well, the new big thing isn't a bad name for a band, actually.
Nice. Yeah, not bad. Yeah.
New Kids on the Block and the new big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, this is interesting.
The 49ers.
The 49ers, yes, maybe. Do you think it's traditional to have 5 or to start with 5 until one of them leaves and goes solo or gets booted out for drugs or something?
Yeah.
But
would that be you? Who do you think would go solo first?
I would. Oh, no, indeed. I would go solo, clearly. Yes. I think I'm sort of the Gary Barlow who's clearly, this is in Take That.
No, I've already thought it through. I'm the Gary Barlow.
Well, hang on.
I've already decided. You're the Robbie Williams.
Oh, right. Okay. The bad boy.
Because I see you more as the, the guy that's going to wear the leather jacket and do crazy things on stage. And I always think of Gary Barlow as more like cerebral and sort of almost like the creative force and the person who will sit there and do the hard yards. And I think I'm the Gary Barlow of Unmade,
Right.
I'm generating the, I'm doing the hard yards, and you're just like Robbie Williams swanning in.
You've got the synthesizer that you're bringing on tour and playing.
Yeah.
And, right. Okay.
I think I want Gary Barlow.
Okay.
Because you're more the front man. You're obviously going to be like the main singer and like the one who does crazy things.
Yeah, the eye candy. Look, I think for those who are. I hope people are as familiar with Take That in America as clearly we are in Australia and the UK. Take That, of course, being a massive band. I'm sure they would be partially. But, of course, the Backstreet Boys are probably another one of the really big ones. New Kids on the Block.
I think if we were New Kids on the Block, I think you would be Danny.
What? Danny? He didn't do anything. He just stood there.
Winding you up. Looking like a vampire. No.
He just sort of stood at the back looking muscly. His job was to
like
you would be
Donnie. You would be Donnie, I think.
Donnie Wahlberg, right?
Yeah, like the one who's
Donnie.
Bit wild.
Yeah. Well, this is true. But and I feel like I'm getting more wild as I get to the end of my 40s and into my 50s. You know how people usually calm down?
No,
I'm
not yet.
Calming down.
No.
You can tell I'm not calming down because I'm joining a boy band, which is always a sure sign that you're rebelling.
What do you think of my podcast idea? So you're so into it, you're already deciding who am I and what are our songs going to be and that. What do you think of the podcast idea? This sort of midlife crisis boy band.
There are I have seen documentaries about this before, but
but not with guys like us.
No, indeed. No, that's true. I have not seen one with guys like us.
Yeah.
There may be a reason for that. I think this is a pretty good idea. I think going through the process is interesting, putting it all together, because people, I don't think, fully realize exactly, even organic bands, exactly how much of a package deal they are and how much work goes into every little microscopic part of how they come together and every song and every cut. Oh, my goodness. So this would be interesting, pulling back the curtain and going through that process a little bit. Doing it with us is really funny.
That's the twist. The twist is that it's like it's guys who shouldn't be doing it because they're not that musically talented, especially me, obviously, and guys who are doing it too late in life. Like I think this, but still doing it, but committing to it, not making it like Spinal Tap act.
No,
fast.
it's not. It's not a spoof. No, this is serious. Yes,
commit to it. Commit to it.
Particularly if the other three guys could sing, like that's going to be very important.
That would be funny. I don't know what would be funnier, 3 other nobodies like us or 3 guys who actually know their stuff. I think maybe old numpties would be funnier. I mean, I guess we're veering into kind of like full Monty territory, aren't we, where coal miners are trying to do like a strip review or something where it's...
Yes, well, that's right. No, I think you've got to have someone a little bit more talented if we're going to take it seriously. So it's not just a total spoof.
But then the danger would be that you and I would just fall into the background and not do anything, and we'd start leaning on the talent.
Man, I don't think that's the case. Surely you're being a bit harsh. Being a bit harsh on me. Surely.
Yeah, good luck pushing Tim into the background if a band gets formed. You'd have to chain him to a pole.
I'll be the guy. See, one of the things you got to do all those. You know how they do those synchronized dancing. You know those sort of steps all in line and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but I'd be doing my own steps out the front. It'd be like you guys are.
So would I, but just because I can't remember the proper ones.
I'd love it if we were all doing steps but modelled on your dancing, because your dancing is awesome. I love it. I love it so much. Particularly when we're at school, where your dancing was just so unformed, but you were totally committed. It was magnificent.
I don't want to talk about my dancing at school.
So the challenge would be to get a real record deal then, wouldn't it? And actually get something recorded, put down. I mean, we've already got a producer. We've got Q, haven't we? So that's taken care of.
You don't need record deals these days. You don't need record deals these days. It's the industry's new now, man. We'll just self-release.
We need someone to tell us what like to wear and stuff, and to advise. We need people.
Yeah.
You know how these bands always have. You have people, floating
Consultants.
around and all.
Oh
that.
yeah, I want a huge entourage. I want a private jet, man. I want a private jet.
Private jet, as in for the band or for yourself? Like, do you want a jet each, or is this like Pink Floyd, where everyone has their own bus?
Or is that what Pink Floyd do? Each performer has their own bus.
Oh, well, but when they were together back in the day, it got to the case where everyone had their own caravan, their own bus. Basically, they wouldn't speak unless they were on stage together. They'd walk to the stage from separate areas. That's how bad things got relationally.
I was thinking we'd get like a 747, like an Air Force One type situation, where like we have our cabins at the front, the band members, and then all our entourage are in the back, and roadies and all that stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, at least to begin with, and then I'll start looking at planes for myself, or I might borrow Max Verstappen's plane. Perhaps he'll loan that to me and to cruise around the world on. Look, I think, I mean, there's more to being in a boy band than the plane, right?
Oh, there's more.
There's the music.
See, I think the music is almost like the least important part to me. I really like the idea of all the strategy sessions and the demographics and target audience and like creating the narrative and the characters and all that sort of stuff. And like the music's just this pain in the butt thing we have to do because that's like part of being a band. Like, I guess we better make some songs too. But I'm more into all the other stuff and like the fun of all the, I love the idea of what our exit clause is going to be and how's the contract's going to work and all that sort of stuff.
Most of these bands have like a cute little guy, like a short guy. You know what I mean?
Like a young guy, like Joey and Joe McIntyre in New Kids.
Is that, are you going to be that guy, or are we going to get another little guy? What's the, like, someone even littler?
I'm about the same height as you.
I don't know, but I just because in the screen at the moment you're a bit lower than I am.
I am. My eye line's lower than yours. Just because my eye line is lower than yours on the Zoom call, and you've got the camera looking up. Just because you're using a weird camera that's looking up your nose at the moment doesn't mean you're 7 foot tall. It means you've got a weird camera down low.
Okay, well, we're going to need a little guy then, okay? We're going to need to recruit.
We need a little young guy.
Yeah, cute guy.
Who's going to be the sex symbol? Is it going to be one of us two, or is it going to be one of our recruits?
Well, the thing about Take That, right, is you've got Gary Barlow at the front, the talented guy, the lead singer. Then you had Robbie Williams, the sort of rogue one. And then you had the little guy. And then you had the two no-names at the back, right? The other guys who didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And to this day, I don't know who they are or what they've done. And I think one of them's left. One of them had like dreadlocks for a while, which I think was a bad move in a boy band. I think they were both called Jason. I think that's right. Some sort of generic name like that. And that's a bit like John. Who was it? John and Danny, the two
in New Kids. Man, you're just jumping between boy bands from our youth, assuming everyone's jumping with you. Whereas we're not inside your head, man. You have to explain the things you're talking about. The thing is, The thing is, the problem with me seeing myself as Gary Barlow, who was from Take That.
Yeah.
I do see myself as this kind of, creative force driver behind the project. But I have no musical talent, and Gary Barlow has lots of musical talent. So that's going to bring me unstuck in this whole process.
That is difficult. That is one difficult thing. I don't think it's insurmountable, though. I think several boy bands have managed to get past that.
Yes.
Who are some others that we can think of? NSYNC. And they were the ones with Justin Timberlake in there, weren't they?
Boys to Men, although they were probably more men than boys.
No, I think that's more of a soul group. I don't think of them as a boy band.
Okay,
but yeah.
okay. Because I liked the idea of you having a cane and being like that guy with the deep voice who just does the occasional deep voice solo. But yeah, they're not a boy band. You're right.
No, they're a bit different. They're a little bit earlier.
One Direction.
One Direction, yeah, that's a new one, isn't it? And
Yeah.
who's the lead guy of that? The one who went solo?
Harry Styles. Harry Styles.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
that's
they
it.
all went solo, but
For some reason, I think lesser of the boy bands now than from our era, even though I thought...
because you're an old grumpy man and you're stuck in the past, like all us old grumpy men.
Well, but the thing is, I thought nothing of those bands back then, but just because they were back then, I somehow have them on a higher plane than...
Yeah. Yeah. My sister loved New Kids on the Block, so I knew a lot about New Kids on the Block when they were at their peak because my sister was so into them and had all the posters. Yeah. And so she would sit me down and explain who they all were and show me the photos in the magazines, in the Teen Idol magazines. That's Joey and that's Joe and that's Jordan and that's Danny.
Jordan, that's right. He was the sort of tall, good-looking, talented-y kind of one. He could sing. And Joey was the cute little one.
Yeah. And they were brothers, weren't they? They were the McIntyres.
No. Jordan was a brother with John, one of the no-name guys at the back.
Yes, you're right. My mistake, yes.
The thing about those no-name guys at the back, right, is that they end up being the most kind of, balanced and sensible and normal. Like, they always move on. When the boy band breaks up, they go and become something sensible, like a property developer or funds manager, and just live a very relaxed, lovely life with their family. Whereas, you know what I mean? Like, they've actually, they weren't the stars, but they were actually a little bit more level-headed, perhaps. What's the one that Ronan Keating was in?
Was that Boyzone or?
Boyzone. Yeah, that's right.
Yep. That's another one.
And he was the talented one from that because we've heard of him.
Would you call the Jackson 5 a boy band?
Look, I wouldn't know, but I don't know why. I guess they were. Oh, that's a really good point.
BTS, are they like Korean or something like that? They're a big one at the moment. I know nothing about, but I know they're big. Were the Beatles a boy band?
No, because they actually wrote songs and played instruments.
So you think a qualification for being a boy band is that kind of manufacturedness and lack of talent? Because most boy bands do have talented people in them.
No, a boy band is where they're all singers. They're there to sort of sing and play together. They're not a proper band. They're not instrumental.
Okay.
Lisers. Yeah.
So Hanson. Are Hanson a boy band? No, they play instruments.
No, I'd say they're a band. Yeah.
And I also think if you form as a band organically, you're also maybe not a boy band. If there's no third party putting the people together.
Yeah, that's right. So Hanson and the Jackson 5 are obviously family bands. That's a little bit different, I think. Like the Partridge Family and that kind of thing.
Westlife, that's a boy band.
Yeah, Westlife is a boy band. There's another one as well I'm trying to think of.
Who are the ones that sang Stay Another Day? Who are those ones?
Stay Another Day.
E17.
Yeah, no, they are a boy band, but they're a bit different. There's something a bit more, I don't know why they're different. They're a little bit edgier. But they're an interesting boy band because they're kind of like from more working class or I don't know what they were, a little bit grittier. I know you love their song Deep, didn't you? Their second single,
I did like Deep. I love how this has got, I love how the conflict between you and I here because I like my podcast idea, right? And like, the idea of what we can show and what we can make. And for you, you're just like being pulled into wanting to talk about bands and music and like just the whole genre of boy bands. So
it is funny to think about rating boy bands. Like this is a genre that I have largely derision for, but it would be interesting to rate them, listen to their music and actually rate them on that. Okay, so let's go the other way then. Let's talk about the different personalities. One boy band, of course, that's very famous is the Spice Girls. Who are a girl band, right?
Yeah.
And they're the classic case of where the different identities actually had a name. They're Ginger Spice and Scary Spice, Posh Spice. So they actually went all the way with that. Baby Spice and Sporty Spice.
You would be Old Spice.
Old Spice. Very good.
Yeah, I mean, girl bands, you've got like Destiny's Child, All Saints, Little Mix, Sugar Babes, Girls Aloud, Bananarama,
yeah, that's right. I think somehow, I think of those soul-ish kind of bands as being a little bit different. Like you can go back to groups like the Temptations and stuff like that, but I think that's all a little bit different. Or the Supremes.
I think some of those old boy bands and girl bands, we don't consider to be boy bands and girl bands because the artificialness of it was hidden from us back then. It wasn't so because of the media environment, you didn't see the puppeteers and how it was all being put together. But it was still happening back then. There probably were still a bunch of strangers being put together because they had good singing voices and were good looking. And some producer said, all right, we're going to put you 3 together as singers.
But because they came from Motown, it's and some of them could sing a hell of a lot. But usually they were a main star with a group of people around about them.
Yeah. But that's true of boy bands now too. In the end, 1 or 2 become the main stars and become individual artists. You know,
they can hold it together. Yeah. That's true as well.
I do like the idea with our boy band, like the one we're going to make, having 5 or 6 members, and as a curveball at the end, we get one girl in the band. Preferably as the drummer, because it's really cool to have a female drummer.
Yeah, that's true in regular bands. But that's well, that gets into what's that one? Is it Steps? They're kind of girls and boys, weren't they? All kind of mixed together.
Yeah, true.
So, oh right, okay.
Maybe we should stick with boys to be true to the concept of boy band.
Do you think if there was us and 2 other guys, that there's a girl on Earth that would be willing to join our band, be associated with our band?
Yes. Colonel Katrina.
Colonel Katrina. Oh dear.
And no one else probably.
All right, so let's try and workshop then a name. We've got to have a name for this.
All right.
Have you got anything in mind? Did you come up with anything?
I hadn't gone there.
Brady, Tim, 49, Unmade. Could it work with Made, Unmade, or something like that, or Made Up? Made Up Men or Unmade Men.
Unmade Men, yeah.
Unmade Madness. Unmade Midnight. That's pretty cool.
Unmade Midnight.
Yeah.
These days they go for quite corporate names. Like I always think like One Direction and stuff like that is always like, so maybe we should be thinking more corporate, like, you know.
Bland, you reckon? E17 has a number in it. That's and the Jackson 5 have a number.
Do we somehow riff on the fact we're old guys who are coming back and, like Phoenix or something?
Phoenix?
Yeah?
Unmade Phoenix. There's something about the Phoenix coming from from nothing. It's made again.
Or like No Direction?
No Direction. Yeah, no, but I think that sounds like a cover band of One Direction.
Old Boys on the Block?
Yeah, again, that's oh, Lord.
Man Zone.
When we did that thing at school, what was that called? We came up with a name. Oh, Boyfriend. That's right. Remember there was that Australian one called Girlfriend, and we did that thing at school called Boyfriend, where we danced in front of the assembly.
Yeah, we have made a boy band before. Now I think about it. Yeah, we were called Boyfriend. Yeah. I don't know.
Wow. Well, maybe we could resurrect Boyfriend. Maybe that could be. We could get that going again.
I don't know. Let's give it more
Boyfriend.
thought. We're going to have to, because one of the things I quite like about my idea, I like the idea of focus groups too. We could do it when we do our first few photo shoots and we're putting it together. Before we release it, we'd want to test it on focus groups. So we could get groups of like 10 women in a room and show them like headshots of us and say, which ones of these guys do you think would be awesome? And like we can record all their reactions to our headshots from our styling session. Oh yes, I like him. Oh yes. Are they New York Dieters? Oh yeah.
Let's do that then. I bought Moscots today, by the way. New frames. I finally committed to some new ones.
Okay. We'll save that for another episode. That's too big. That's too big to carry here. The Tim's new glasses frames. That's a whole episode. Tim's new glasses frames.
All right. More clues coming. Okay. Well, listen. Getting back to this idea, then let's run that as a focus group. Let's do that as a competition. People can send in their name ideas, and we can do some voting around the names.
Name ideas. All right.
Yeah. People can send in name ideas. This is a cool thing. Send in name ideas. What we'll do, we'll cull it to a bit of a list, and then we'll put it to the patron supporters to vote.
Okay.
And we'll go with the winner. That's how we'll come up with that name. That's a real focus group. Yeah.
Okay. I knew you'd get into this idea, man. I knew it.
Oh, this is good. This is going to be well, and it's not just it pays at every end because it's a good idea for this episode, right?
Like as an idea.
Yeah. Just as an idea. Yeah. Yeah. But then it's a really good idea. Like if we made the podcast, there's like there's a whole thing.
You realise all the ideas are supposed to be like this, man.
But then
So hang on. That's an actual good idea. That's weird, man.
we've never had one of those before. The thing is, at the end of this, the third thing that comes from it is a band. Like if we actually had the band, then we could launch the band. We might become this amazing band.
Tim, at last, your fantasy would come true.
Well, my fantasy is not to be in a boy band.
No.
Clearly, this would be a launching pad just for my own career.
For your solo career. It's just a necessary step.
It's the longer way around. I didn't think about this being the process. I always thought I'd be discovered in some dark cafe somewhere. But sure, if it has to be a manufactured process, then that's the way we'll go.
I just had another idea name based on your other band you're in with Colonel Katrina. We could be called 5-Piece Feed.
5-piece feed? Oh, wow. That's pretty good. Well, all right, throw that into the mix.
Yeah.
Or the bucket. If you got 5-piece feed, I think you're upgrading to a bucket, aren't you?
Okay. I don't think the bucket would be a good name for our band.
Bouquet. Unmade bouquet. Oh, dear.
Let's move on. This, I somehow I think this is not the last time we're going to talk about our boy band. But
that's good. This is good. I'll be thinking about it while you talk about whatever you're going to talk about next.
Well, we're going to do Spoon of the Week. So here's the jingle. Spoon of the Week. What have you pulled from the Hine family vault this week, Tim?
Oh, look, it took me back to 1988. This spoon, I remember us purchasing. I remember where we were, and I remember certainly being there when it was purchased.
Wow. That's well, talk me through it. Where's the spoon from? What's it all about? What's this souvenir teaspoon all about?
It's from, and I have to look closely again at it. It's from this dairy promotional place. Can you read what it says there?
Yeah,
Academy.
It says the Dairy Centre of Australia, Phillip Island.
That's right. So Phillip Island is a little island not far, 100 k's from Melbourne, and it's like a holiday spot, and it's a really lovely place, lush place to go.
They used to have a motorbike Grand Prix there. I don't know if they still do.
They still do, although that's not a big deal anymore. They got the very big tourist attraction are these beautiful like little penguins that come in at night time, and people watch the penguins coming in, and truckloads of tourists go down for that.
Right.
But, there's beaches and surfing and all that kind of stuff as well.
And they have a dairy centre.
That's right. Which is it's one of those things where it's like you'd never think about going to the dairy centre. But because I had old parents and I'm an only child, you got dragged absolutely everywhere. And when you go in there, it's actually pretty cool. Like it's a sort of place where you're going to walk out with like a show bag of dairy products and brochures about cows and all that kind of stuff. But I remember there being like a robot cow there, like something where you could kind of milk and milk came out and, it was that whole, this is the 80s.
You could pull on the virtual udders.
Indeed. Yeah. And there were all sorts of, there was boring information as well about like milk and stuff like that. But there was like free stuff to eat, so that's always really good. There was milk you could drink,
nice,
and there was lots of, not lots of, and that's about it really. But that was the dairy centre. I distinctly remember going to the dairy centre.
Is Phillip Island itself a big dairy farming place? Is it big enough to have lots of dairy farms? Is that why the centre is on the island?
Yeah. I imagine so. It's all that area of Gippsland is all really lush green. That's wonderful dairy country down that way. All that sort of south of Melbourne and around that coastal area. Lots of luscious farms, with dairy farms, and that's all around Traralgon.
In my head, Gippsland, where you're from and where Traralgon is always kind of north of Melbourne, but it's south of Melbourne, is it?
Yeah, southeast. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it goes down. Yeah, the highway goes down. If you got picture Australia, then there's Melbourne down the bottom, and then it goes down in like a southeasterly direction down.
Because I always think you can't go much further south than Melbourne. So is it like en route to like the 12 Apostles and stuff?
No, the 12 Apostles are the other ways if you're driving slowly to South Australia around the coast. This one is southeast.
Southeast of Melbourne, not south.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I could not have a more wrong picture in my head of where Gippsland was if I tried.
Of course, Phillip Island is more south of Melbourne because you go around the peninsula and then it's being an island, it's clearly off the coast. But Traralgon's a bit inland from that, so it's more southeast.
Do you know, just unrelated but semi-related, because this comes into my head. I think this comes into my head at least once a month, and I still feel guilty about it. And I've talked about it before, I think, but I'll talk about it again because we're talking about Gippsland and like Traralgon, where you're from. Tim and I were once doing a quiz game, like a board game when we were young, like Trivial Pursuit. It wasn't called Trivial Pursuit. I think it was called Teacher's Quiz, and it just had trivia questions from around the world. And I pulled a card and had to ask Tim a question. And the question was, what part of the world has the world's longest and biggest worms? And it could have been anywhere in the world. It could have been anywhere. And Tim had no chance of getting this right. What would Tim know about worms? But Tim said, I've got no idea what the answer to that is. But I'll tell you what, I'll say Traralgon, because where I used to go digging out in the backyard, there were some really, really long worms. And then I turned around the card for the answer. And the answer was Gippsland, Victoria, Australia. And I didn't give Tim the point. I didn't give it to him because he said Traralgon. And that was so mean of me. Because
You are
I was being a stickler.
I remember that night. You are a very competitive person, and especially when you were young, you were a very competitive person.
That was terrible. I should have given you that. I'm still sorry about that, man. You should have got that point.
Can I tell you, there's a lovely loop back into this story, though, because not far, like literally down the same road from the dairy centre on Phillip Island, is like the giant earthworm, which is like an earthworm centre. It's this massive long earthworm thing that you can like go in and there's like worms and stuff and everything.
It's like these famous Australian roadside tourist attractions we all know about, like the big pineapple, the big koala, the big banana, the big rocking horse, of course, and they've got a big earthworm.
Yeah, I guess it is a bit like that. Yeah. This is more. We never bothered to go in because it's just like worms, and we catch worms all the time to go fishing and stuff.
Oh my God! What? So I was going to think, where is the line for your parents? Where does something become, I'm not going to go into it? And it lies somewhere between the dairy centre of Australia and the big earthworm.
Yes,
somewhere between those two. Okay.
They're literally on the same road I can literally picture them both on the same road driving onto Phillip Island. Yeah. And the fact that we went to the dairy centre twice, but we never went to the earthworm centre.
You've just coming out of your second visit to the dairy centre of Australia, and your dad's gone, earthworms are too boring.
We're not going there. We went everywhere. Like when you're an only child of older parents, you know, like you go to people's houses and there's nothing to do, and they don't bring out games. You just sit in a chair and stare like at the coffee table, and you sort of play with the coffee coasters or something, you know, like long into the night. Would you like a cup of tea and all that kind of stuff while they talk about boring stuff? And you just eventually end up laying on the carpet and like just falling asleep. But you're just playing with coffee coasters or begging for
death.
That's right. I remember looking forward to, we'd always go see these old Dutch people, you know, I remember their very formal, traditional sort of homes where there's no fun stuff. It's not like they've got a new idea sitting or something like that, or even to look at.
Just racks of souvenir teaspoons.
Yeah, it's just all that kind of, stuff. And I know there was at one family, I can't remember who these people were, but there was, because mum and dad were always friends, they were always taking care of old people. So we'd go around, particularly old Dutch people, we'd go to their house and there was some sort of little maze thing, like it's not a maze, but it's like a little piece of wood with holes in it and you roll the marble around in it until the marble comes in the hole. Man, I would have done like a good 2.5 hours with that thing in my hand. It's like, and you drive to these places going, oh, at least they've got that game. And then one time, like you go there and it's not just sitting there and you're a kid going, when can I say, oh, excuse me, Mrs., whatever. Yeah. Do you have that game? Or Mum, can you ask where that game is or something? Yeah. And then Dad would say something, it doesn't need any games. You sit tight, and it's just be like, shut down.
Have you got any more coffee tables I can stare at?
Can we put the TV's right there? And I know like Knight Rider's on or something. So it's like just
He doesn't need a TV. He doesn't need Knight Rider. He doesn't want that. He wants to listen to us talk about old Dutch biscuits.
they're just staring straight ahead. My goodness me. It's why I have these places imprinted. I can picture the lounge rooms because you just sit there looking around the lounge room. It's almost like you're glancing, let me glance around that wall again because there might be a more interesting photo this time.
My two abiding memories of long afternoons in my grandmother's house trying to fit under the coffee table. Was I still small enough to fit under her coffee table?
Yeah.
And staring at her chandeliers and squinting my eyes so that lasers would come out of the lights. You know, when you squint and you can make lasers come out of the lights. I would spend hours making lasers. I reckon the wrinkles around my eyes are from me as a 5-year-old squinting for hours on end trying to make lasers come out of Nan's chandelier.
That's so awesome. I've never heard someone say they do that as well. That's great. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. So here's my podcast idea. Let's leverage this into something.
Oh, okay. We're leaving Spoon of the Week. Goodbye, Spoon of the Week.
We're leaving Spoon of the Week behind.
Hello, Tim's podcast idea.
The most bored I've ever been.
Was it when I sent you that marble race yesterday to get your commentary?
No, I quite enjoyed the marble race.
Okay.
I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to enjoy it. But
can I say something controversial about being bored? I like this idea, Tim. I mean, this is funny. This is fun to think about. But can I say something that you're not going to like? I spent a decent chunk of my young years being dragged to church services.
Yep.
And there's a certain pattern and a way of talking and rituals and things that happen in church services across denominations, really.
Yep.
That I have become so
inoculated against,
desensitized to, so desensitized to, and so bored by that even now going into a church service for me has some effect on my brain that I cannot explain that just puts me into an absolute stupor. For Christmas, we went to our local church on Christmas Eve. They do a special family service with puppets and a few songs, and they do these oranges with lollies on them and candles, Chris Tingle or something it's called, some tradition they do. They do it every year. It couldn't be more focused at families if they tried. The actual preachy bit from the priest lasts 30 seconds. They keep it to an absolute minimum. And still, the minute I step into that church, my brain just absolutely shuts down and I just want to be anywhere else. I find going into churches, even when I come to your church now, which I enjoy because I get a thrill from seeing you preach and they're really great people at your church. But there's still this tug of war in my brain. It's like my brain is trying to shut itself down and I'm fighting against it. And it's completely involuntary. And it's not a criticism of religion or Christianity or anything. It's just like this learned thing that I got as a kid and I cannot break it even now as an adult who hardly ever goes into churches. So there you go. I get very bored in churches.
No. You don't need to apologize for that. I think that's so common and I know exactly what you mean. And can I say something controversial as well? I don't love church services either. I do, which sounds crazy, but part of the reason I obviously believe in God and I think the message is so important, but I tell you, I'm not one of those people where, I don't believe anymore, I just go along to enjoy the music. Like, if I didn't believe in God, I didn't think it was like the most compelling philosophy at the heart of everything that really animates my life, I wouldn't go to church. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, I come along for the organ or I come along for this or the community. The community is great, but you can get community in other ways. And I would engage with church without having to sit through that bit. If it was doing that to me, and I think part of the reason is because I know that experience you had too, where years and years and years of sitting in church that was talking over our head, wasn't talking at us, wasn't interesting. It was... heaps of it was wasted and it was boring and it was too long. I absolutely agree. Yeah.
Anyway, and let's move on from churches.
So the most boring.
No. I'm sure that's not the most boring. But I like the idea. Or I'm assuming you're talking more about like maybe one-off moments, or I don't know. What's the most bored you've ever been?
When I thought of this idea, which was just before you told your little anecdote about going to church,
Yeah.
I was thinking about aeroplane flights where, you don't have anything to do, where you can't get to your book or the video thing's not on, or even when you've run out of movies, you know what I mean? You've still got like 7 hours to go. That's a pretty classic case for boredom.
So I definitely airports, especially when your flight's delayed.
Yeah, that's
some
right.
very, very boring times in airports. Waiting for planes.
Like in Hong Kong, walking around, there's this place. I remember going into Mont Blanc, the pen place, and just trying every pen, signing your name. If you ever want to steal my signature, no, it is. It was like, this is something. And you go, can I have that one? Yeah, great. How much is that? $4,500. Oh, okay. Well, it's a bit heavy at the end, You get really critical.
But then sometimes you get drawn away from the shops, like you've got to go into your gate and you get penned into like a gate area or something, and then a delay happens. That's when things get boring.
No, so that's a classic time as well. Traffic, I get so bored in traffic. I'm a terrible driver because I get so bored. If there's not something going on, if I'm not able to be lost in thought, which I think is another sort of a subsection of this. Boredom is easier when you're alone, I think, than when you're with someone.
Yeah.
If you're alone and then someone comes along, it's like, here we go. This is something to break the boredom. But if you've been there together with the person, it's harder to be bored with someone else than on your own when you kind of can get lost in your own thoughts and introvert into a bit of a different zone.
I've had some very boring times because obviously I'm like a science popularizer and I go to science conferences and things like that. But as a result of that, sometimes I have to sit through some of the technical lectures as well. Like, we're doing now one of the scientists is giving thank you, Brady Heron, for that very interesting talk about your YouTube videos. Wasn't that a fun little piece of fluff? Now let's get to the main talk about the chemistry of dihydroaldehydes with Professor Smithson from Harvard. And then there's 3 hours of really, really technical stuff that I do not understand. I get and you can't walk out because you can't just give your fun talk and then walk out. So once the technical lectures happen at science conferences, because it may as well be another language to me, I get very bored during some of those lectures because I just don't understand it. I would encourage our listeners to get in touch with us about the most bored they've ever been.
Right now, some of them are going.
Yes, I'm sure. So Reddit, email, all the usual ways you can get in touch with us, Patreon. Get in touch and tell us your stories about the most bored you've ever been. And if you send us a few, don't make your explanation boring. But
no,
and if you
we don't want to be bored.
No,
we want to hear about when you were bored.
When you were bored, tell us about
told
it
in a really interesting way.
Yes, and we may share it in an upcoming episode. Tim, we'd better stop boring people and move on because we've got a whole other group of people to bore in our request room episode. We're going to do a request room today. The request room is back. Patreon supporters can go and listen to us talk some more and answer your questions and deal with your requests. Sound good?
Yeah, I feel like I want to say more about like church and how things are supposed to have meaning and purpose and focus so that they're not boring and people don't get to the
okay, man.
49 years of age and, hate it.
We know, man. Don't bore us with all your talk about church. We know.